Hello, my name is Harper Stone, and welcome to Chosen for the Light. Today, you're about to uncover something that only 1% of people will truly understand in this moment. Yes, God is revealing something extraordinary, something that has the potential to completely transform the direction of your life. Let me tell you right now, this isn't a coincidence. You didn't stumble upon this video by accident. There's a divine purpose at work here, and God has chosen you to hear this message today. Stay with me until the very end, because what I'm about to share might just be the breakthrough you've been praying for. Have you ever felt deep inside that you're destined for something greater, but you're not sure exactly what it is? Have you ever wondered why your challenges seem bigger than most people's? Perhaps it's because your purpose is unique. Your journey isn't like anyone else's, and that's because God has a higher plan for your life. If you believe that you've been chosen for something greater, I want you to declare it right now. Type, "I am the 1% in the comments below. Let's come together as a community, standing firm in faith and revelation, because this moment, right here, could be the beginning of something truly life-changing. Since the very beginning, God already knew your purpose. Long before you were born, He had a plan specifically designed for you, a path carved out with precision, intention, and infinite love. And while that path hasn't always been easy, every twist, every turn, every challenge you've faced was preparing you for something greater. You see, your life is not random. The trials you've endured were never meaningless. They were all a part of a divine blueprint, molding you into who you were meant to become. Let me tell you this, just like a diamond is formed under intense pressure, your greatest potential is revealed through life's toughest moments. Without that pressure, the diamond would remain a simple lump of coal, never realizing its brilliance. In the same way, the obstacles you're facing aren't here to destroy you. They're here to strengthen you. They're here to refine your character, deepen your faith, and unlock the light that God placed within you from the very start. Think about it. Each challenge, no matter how overwhelming, has been shaping your strength and resilience. Maybe you felt crushed by the weight of your circumstances, wondering if you'll ever break free. But let me remind you of something powerful. Even in those moments when you feel like giving up, God is working. Behind the scenes, in ways you can't yet see, He's using every hardship to prepare you for the blessings and the purpose that are waiting just ahead. Let's take a moment to consider a beautiful metaphor, one that mirrors what God is doing in your life right now. Imagine yourself as a seed planted deep in the soil. At first, everything feels dark. You're surrounded by dirt, hidden away, and it seems like nothing is happening. But in that hidden place, something extraordinary is occurring. The seed begins to grow, sending roots deep into the earth and preparing to break through the surface. And when the time is right, it bursts forth, blooming into something beautiful, something full of life and purpose. This is where you are right now. You might feel buried, overwhelmed, or unsure of what's next, but God hasn't forgotten you. That darkness you're experiencing isn't the end. It's the beginning. The pressure you feel is preparing you. The waiting is cultivating you. And when the season comes, you'll rise, you'll bloom, and you'll look back and see that every struggle, every delay, every tear was worth it, because it brought you to a place of flourishing that you could never have imagined. But let me reassure you of this, because I know how easy it is to doubt. If you've felt a stirring in your heart lately, a sense that there's something bigger waiting for you, something greater calling you, that feeling is real. It's not just wishful thinking or coincidence. It's the voice of God whispering to you, reminding you that you're chosen, you're set apart, and while the world might overlook you, God sees you. He's been with you every step of the way, guiding you even when you didn't realize it. Remember this truth: God doesn't choose the already capable, the already perfect, or the already strong. Instead, he chooses the willing, the humble, the broken, and then he equips them for their purpose. He gives strength to the weak, wisdom to the uncertain, and courage to those who feel afraid. If you feel unprepared, that's okay. God is preparing you. If you feel small, don't worry. He is making you mighty. And if you feel lost, know this: He has already mapped out the way for you, and all you need to do is trust Him. There's an incredible comfort in knowing that God doesn't expect you to have everything figured out. He's not asking you to be perfect or to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. What He's asking for is your faith, your willingness to say, "Yes, Lord, I'm ready to follow you, even if I don't have all the answers." And when you take that step of faith, you'll begin to see doors open, paths clear, and opportunities arise that you never thought possible. Think about the stories of others who were chosen for something greater, people like Moses, David, or Esther. None of them started out feeling qualified for their calling. Moses doubted his ability to speak. David was just a shepherd boy. Esther was an orphan with no status or power. But God saw something in them that no one else did, and He sees the same in you. He doesn't look at your limitations. He looks at your potential. He doesn't focus on where you've been. He focuses on where you're going. So if you've ever felt out of place, if you've ever wondered why your journey feels harder than others, I want you to know this: it's because your purpose is different. You weren't meant to blend in. You were meant to stand out. You weren't created for an ordinary life. You were created for something extraordinary. And yes, the road to that extraordinary purpose may be filled with challenges, but those challenges are what make your story so powerful. Let me ask you something. Have you ever stopped to think about how far you've already come? Maybe it's been a long road, and maybe it hasn't always been easy, but you're still here. You've survived things you thought you wouldn't. You've faced battles that seemed impossible, yet here you are, standing strong, ready to take the next step. That's not by accident. That's evidence of God's hand on your life, guiding you, protecting you, and preparing you for what's next. So today, I want to encourage you to hold on to this truth. You are chosen, you are seen, you are loved. And no matter how dark the season you're in may feel, the light is coming. God has not forgotten you, and He never will. Trust in His timing, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Believe in His plan, even when you can't see it yet. And know that the same God who began a good work in you will be faithful to complete it. Take a deep breath and remind yourself of who you are and whose you are. You are a child of God, crafted with intention and purpose. And while the world may not always understand your journey, your Creator does. He's walking alongside you, cheering you on, and reminding you that the best is yet to come. Right now, I want you to declare this truth over your life. I am chosen. I am not forgotten. God has a purpose for me. Speak it out loud. Write it down. Believe it with every fiber of your being, because the moment you fully embrace that truth is the moment everything begins to shift. And remember, you're not alone in this journey. There's a community of people just like you who are chosen, who are walking through the same struggles, and who are stepping into the same calling. Together, we are stronger. Together, we are brighter. And together, we can fulfill the extraordinary purpose that God has placed on each of our lives. Let's dive into the next part of the script with the same flowing, motivational tone, weaving in the emotional and spiritual depth to keep the audience engaged and inspired. Have you ever faced sleepless nights, moments where it felt like the weight of the world was pressing down on your chest? Have you experienced doors closing when you desperately needed them to open? Or found yourself sitting in the silence, wrestling with doubts that whispered, "What if this is all there is?" Let me tell you something, none of it was in vain. Not a single tear, not a single disappointment, and not a single unanswered prayer has been wasted. God allowed you to walk through those experiences for a reason. He wasn't punishing you, He was preparing you. Every closed door was redirecting you to the right one. Every setback was a setup for something greater, and every moment of doubt was an opportunity to strengthen your faith, to cling to the promises he made for your life, even when the path seemed unclear. Let me share with you the story of Joseph in Egypt, a story that mirrors so much of what many of us go through. Joseph was just a young man when his own brothers betrayed him, selling him into slavery out of jealousy. Imagine the heartbreak, the confusion, the overwhelming sense of abandonment. He was taken far from home, thrust into a life he didn't choose, and later imprisoned for a crime he didn't commit. For years, it must have felt like God had forgotten him. But here's the beautiful part. God was with Joseph every step of the way. Even in the pit, even in the prison, God was preparing him. What Joseph couldn't see in those moments of suffering was the greater plan unfolding behind the scenes. In the right time, Joseph was elevated to a position of power, becoming second only to Pharaoh. His leadership not only saved an entire nation during a devastating famine, but also reunited him with the very family that had betrayed him. Now take a moment to reflect on that. If Joseph's journey hadn't included the pit, the prison, and the years of waiting, he wouldn't have been ready to step into his purpose. And just like Joseph, you're being prepared. The trials you're enduring aren't a sign that God has abandoned you. They're proof that he's working in your life, shaping you into the person you need to be to fulfill your calling. So let me ask you, what are the challenges you're facing right now? What are the struggles that seem too big to overcome? Take a moment and think about them, not as obstacles, but as lessons. What might God be teaching you through these experiences? Is he growing your patience, deepening your trust, strengthening your resolve? Sometimes the lessons are hard to see when you're in the middle of the storm, but when you take a step back and look at the bigger picture, you begin to realize that every challenge has a purpose. Maybe that rejection wasn't the end, it was a redirection. Maybe that closed door wasn't a failure, it was God protecting you from something that wasn't meant for you. Think about the refining process of gold. To bring out its purest form, gold must be placed in the fire, melted down, and rid of its impurities. It's an intense, sometimes painful process, but the result is something beautiful, something valuable, something that shines. That's what God is doing in your life right now. The fire you're feeling isn't meant to destroy you, it's meant to refine you. And let's be real, this journey of refinement isn't easy. There will be days when you question why things are so difficult. There will be nights when you feel like you can't go on. But in those moments, I want you to remember this: you are not alone. God hasn't left you, and he never will. He is walking beside you, carrying you when you're too weak to stand, and whispering to your heart, "Keep going, I've got you." Joseph's story teaches us that waiting on God's timing is never wasted time. It may feel like you're stuck, like nothing is happening, but God is working in the waiting. He's aligning circumstances, opening doors, and orchestrating events in ways you can't yet see. Trust that his timing is perfect, even when it doesn't align with your expectations. Now, I want you to think about your own story. Look back on the moments when you thought you wouldn't make it, but somehow you did. The times when you felt broken, but you found the strength to keep going. That wasn't by chance. That was God's hand in your life, guiding you, protecting you, and preparing you. Your challenges are not a sign of failure, they're a sign of growth. The pressure you're feeling isn't a punishment, it's a process. And the more you lean into that process, the stronger, wiser, and more equipped you'll become. You're being shaped for something extraordinary, something only you can accomplish. So today, I challenge you to see your struggles through a different lens. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" start asking, "What is this teaching me? How is this preparing me?" When you shift your perspective, you'll begin to see God's fingerprints all over your life. You'll realize that even in the hardest moments, He's been there, shaping you for something greater. And here's the truth I want you to hold on to. Just like Joseph, you are destined for impact. You may not see it now, but your story is going to inspire others. The battles you've fought, the obstacles you've overcome, and the lessons you've learned will become the foundation of your testimony, a testimony that will bring hope to others who are walking through their own struggles. So, keep going, keep trusting, and remember that every challenge, every trial, and every moment of doubt is part of a bigger plan, a divine plan designed specifically for you. You are not forgotten, you are not alone. And the God who brought Joseph out of the pit and into the palace is the same God who is working in your life right now. Take a deep breath and know this. You're on the brink of something extraordinary. Hold on to your faith. Keep pressing forward. And trust that God is using everything, every tear, every struggle, every moment of waiting to prepare you for the incredible purpose He has for your life. Here's the script for the final section, crafted to motivate and guide the audience into practical steps for transformation while keeping the tone wise, encouraging, and spiritual. Now is the time to act. God is revealing that the season of waiting is over. It's time to stop resisting the call He's placed on your life. This isn't about perfection or having all the answers. It's about alignment. Alignment with His plan, His timing, and His purpose for you. Every step you take toward that alignment is a step closer to living the life He's prepared for you. So where do you start? How do you begin to align your thoughts and actions with the divine purpose God has for you? Here are 3 simple but powerful steps to help you step into your calling. First, take a moment to pray and seek clarity. Prayer is the bridge that connects your heart to God's voice. It's in those quiet moments of surrender that He reveals His guidance. Ask Him to show you the areas of your life that need to change, to shine a light on the places where you've been holding back, and to give you the strength to move forward in faith. Second, grab a pen and paper and write down the areas of your life that need to be fully surrendered to God. Maybe it's fear, doubt, or control. Maybe it's a relationship, a career decision, or a hidden hurt that you've been carrying for too long. Whatever it is, name it. Be honest with yourself and with God. This step is crucial because surrender begins with recognition. You can't release what you haven't identified. And finally, declare this over your life. I accept the call. Say it out loud, write it down, repeat it until it sinks into your soul. There's power in speaking truth over your life, in claiming the promises that God has already made for you. When you declare, I accept the call, you're not just speaking words. You're making a commitment to live as someone who believes, someone who trusts, and someone who is ready to step into the extraordinary life God has prepared for them. Now, I want to give you a simple but transformative exercise to take with you today. Find 5 minutes, just 5 minutes, to visualize the abundant life God is preparing for you. Close your eyes and picture it. Imagine yourself stepping into that purpose, living in alignment with His plan. How do you feel in that vision? What kind of person are you? How do you act? How do you impact the people around you? Maybe you see yourself walking confidently, filled with peace and joy, knowing that you're exactly where you're meant to be. Maybe you see yourself helping others, spreading kindness, sharing your testimony, and inspiring those who are still searching for their own purpose. Hold on to that vision, because it's not just a dream. It's a glimpse of what's possible when you trust God and follow His lead. This exercise isn't about wishful thinking. It's about faith in action. When you take the time to visualize what God has for you, you're aligning your heart and mind with His promises. You're training yourself to think and act as someone who believes that God's plan is bigger and better than anything you could ever imagine. And here's the beauty of it. When you begin to live as if you believe in that vision, things start to shift. your perspective changes, your actions change, and as a result, your life begins to change. You'll start to notice opportunities you hadn't seen before, doors opening that you thought were closed, and a sense of peace and purpose that can only come from living in alignment with God's plan. But remember, this isn't a one-time decision. It's a daily commitment. Each day, you'll have the chance to choose faith over fear, surrender over control, and purpose over comfort. And with every choice, you'll grow closer to the person God created you to be. So as we come to the end of this message, I want to leave you with this. You've been chosen, you've been called, and now it's your time to rise. God has planted something extraordinary within you, and He's ready to bring it to life. All He needs is your yes. Take this moment to pray, reflect, and act. Step into the life that's waiting for you, not with hesitation, but with boldness and faith. You were made for this. You are loved, you are seen, and you are ready. Now go out and live as someone who truly believes it. You are not here by accident. There's no randomness in the way this message found you today. Every difficult moment you've endured, every tear you've cried, and every obstacle you've faced, it all has a purpose. None of it was wasted. God has been molding you, refining you, preparing you for something so much greater than you can imagine. And now, the revelation is unfolding, the pieces are coming together, and this is your moment to step into the fullness of His plan. Take a second to imagine this, a life where you're fully aligned with God's divine purpose. Picture yourself waking up each day filled with peace, knowing that you're walking the path you were created for. See yourself thriving, not just surviving. Experiencing prosperity in ways that go beyond finances, finding joy in the smallest moments, and having a lasting impact on the lives of others. This vision of abundance, peace, and purpose isn't just a dream. It's what God has planned for you when you trust Him and take the next step. He's already gone ahead of you, clearing the path, opening doors, and aligning opportunities. All He's asking is that you believe, that you let go of the fear, and that you step forward in faith. If this message has spoken to your heart today, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear these words. There's someone in your life, maybe a friend, a family member, or even a co-worker who's been searching for hope, for direction, for a sign. You could be the person God uses to bring them clarity and encouragement. And if you haven't already, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. This is just the beginning of the journey we'll share together. Type Amen in the comments if you're ready to step into the purpose God has for your life. Let's create a community of faith, hope, and transformation together. Before we close, let me ask you this. What did you feel as you listened to this message? Did it stir something in your heart? Have you ever experienced a moment where you realized God was working behind the scenes in your life? I'd love for you to share your story in the comments. Your testimony could inspire someone else who's struggling to hold on to their faith right now. And as we part, I want to leave you with one final thought. My name is Harper Stone, and I'm here to remind you of something important. You were chosen. You were chosen for a purpose that's bigger than your doubts, bigger than your fears, and bigger than the challenges you're facing right now. God doesn't fail. His timing is perfect, His love is unshakable, and His plans for you are greater than anything you could ever imagine. The best is yet to come. May you feel the peace, strength, and courage to move forward, trusting that God's hand is upon your life. He's not finished with you yet. In fact, He's just getting started. Go out today and live as someone who knows they are chosen. And remember, you're never alone. God is with you every step of the way.